Okay, final review on the Young June lava tube, and then this here basically has given me quite a few problems. I mean, it has worked for a backup device, but I thought it was going to be a good everyday mod, but it's really not. They said that it had a 4-volt maximum switch on it, and everybody would probably think that it was a 4-volt output, or excuse me, 4 amp. I'm sorry, I meant to say amp, but 4 amp output, but it doesn't have a 4 amp output. It is actually quite a bit lower. I know I did a review quite a while back, the first impressions on this, saying that I had vaped it at 3.7 amps and it worked out perfectly fine. It was getting hotter and hotter and hotter as I was going up, and then I could just tell that it had reached the ceiling, but I didn't actually have a meter to verify that. P. Basardo, or Phil Basardo, had a video out where he actually had a tester, and the highest this thing went up to was 2.2. Okay, so keep that in mind. Maybe this one's a little bit different. I don't really have no way to tell. So one thing with this mod is that it does make a tiny bit of noise. It's not a lot. Okay, you probably can't even hear it. It's an 18650 tube. It has the Ego style connector, but it doesn't have the outer threads. Okay, that just means that it can take the 510 connector with something that has a skirt that goes down inside there. Okay. One of the main problems I had with this mod when I first got it was that the isolator in there was already broken. So you would screw stuff down there, it was pushed down too far, you weren't able to make contact for it to fire your accessory. And so I ended up pulling this up because it was starting to come up on its own, and it is now too. Still doing that. I pulled this up and I took out the broken insulator and I worked a Cardo insulator inside there, and that's been working okay, but still not everything fires on it correctly. I can't get my VV Nova tank to actually screw on there, and this one here I can get it to screw on. It's loose as can be. You don't think it's anywhere close to being tight. Okay. And then all of a sudden it just catches and it's tight. Okay. Problem with that is when you check the ohms, it says 9.9. Will not fire. Okay. So then I loosen it up just a little bit. Will not fire. Loosen it up just a little more. Will not fire. Well, what happened? There we go. It's firing. Will not work. I've got to get an O-ring in there and push the connector down a little bit for it to fire. Let's see, what else have I tried on here. A Cardo tank works just fine on here. A dripping atomizer, I'm pretty sure would work fine on here as well, because it's pretty much like a Cardo. Okay, that works fine on there, and it fires 3.0 amps of or ohms of resistance, excuse me. See, now it's not firing. It's pretty much the exact same way it was before. And now it's firing. Okay. So that's the Young June. Whenever you pull the battery out and put it back in, you've got to turn it back on. Sometimes it seems like you got to push this button 20 times, although you're supposed to only have to push it 5 to get it to turn on. The voltage adjustment has never failed. First click, it starts moving for you. So it was at 3. I push up, it goes 3.1. It does round robin, so it will go to 6 from 3. Okay. Also has a battery on there with some bars. You can also push this, check your ohms, 2.8 ohms, and then the battery says 3.0 volts. Oh, that must be the setting. Yeah, that's got to be the setting. Let's try that again. Yeah, it tells you the volts that you've got it set at. First the ohms, then the voltage setting. Doesn't tell you the actual voltage as a number. It just has a battery on there, and it has these little marks that go down as the battery dies. Okay. This mod here uses that battery. It's pretty good. So when I'm not using it, I shut it off, just because you need to save as much battery life with this as you can. So it seemed like I was using batteries probably about double. So, you know, like I said, it would make a good backup, but that's all it's really good for. So yeah, the first day I had it, I had to fix it, and ever since then it's been working like this. I'm really kind of disappointed in this one, and I don't think they actually make this version anymore. It cost me $40, so it wasn't a whole big investment, but it would have been better if it worked the way that it was supposed to work. But yeah, so I think they were just doing a liquidation.